0.73 rupees. That's what it cost my family every time I liked his photo. The golden elephant icon would flash. Cute, almost playful, but I knew what it really meant. The AI was watching my searches, my clicks, how long I stared at his face, and it decided I shouldn't be anywhere near Sahej because he was an untouchable. Now I'm walking into Dharavi, what used to be the world's largest slum, while my phone vibrates with warnings. Disease, poverty, stay away! But I keep walking because somewhere in that darkness, I'm about to learn something the algorithm never wanted me to know. This is my story. The television in the Mumbai apartment showed Chowpatty Beach. In the surf, swaying rhythmically as if to the soundtrack of an Indian sitar, bobbed an enormous statue of Ganesha, the elephant-headed god of wisdom and prosperity. With each receding wave, the deity sank lower, submerging deeper into the water, until it finally disappeared completely into the Arabian Sea. The statue seemed to dissolve into the depths, transforming into golden crimson foam. Salty spray blessed the faithful. The entire crowd gathered on Chowpatty Beach for Ganesh Visarjan, the ritual of immersing Ganesha in water. Such is the traditional finale of the Chaturthi festival. Nayana's happy grandmother and grandfather clapped their hands in front of the screen and sang along with the television. No one paid attention to 8-year-old Rohan, the youngest in the family. Under cover of the noise, he stuffed a fistful of cassava chips into his mouth and washed them down with an enormous gulp of Diet Cola. A doctor had strongly recommended limiting the boy's consumption of fatty and sweet foods. The little guy, having gotten his hands on forbidden treats, shook his head with pleasure and excitement, scattering crumbs all over the room. Papa Sanjay and Mama Ria were preparing the holiday dinner, clanging pots and singing like characters in a Bollywood film. Cheerful sounds and incredible aromas spread from the kitchen throughout the entire apartment. Nayana tried her hardest to tune out what was happening and focus on her smart stream. The Fate Leaf app, Leaf of Destiny, had finally just finished installing. Lately at school, it was all anyone talked about. Thanks to the digitized foresight of India's greatest ancient seers, the program could now answer practically any user question. The app's promotional description said that Fate Leaf's creators had been inspired during its development by the teachings of the revered Hindu sage Agastya. Nayana remembered that thousands of years ago, he had described in Sanskrit the past, present, and future of every single person in the world. The palm leaves bearing Agastya's prophecies were called Nadi astrology. A seer reading Nadi leaves requires a thumbprint and date of birth, and your entire life story is immediately read from the corresponding leaf. So, at least, the legend claims. There is, however, one catch. Over thousands of years, many leaves have been lost. The brutality of colonizers, wars, the relentlessness of time. But one company back in 2025 had tracked down all the surviving Nadi leaves. Virtuoso specialists managed to read and preserve the information, and some records were even reconstructed from surviving fragments. Artificial intelligence was used for deep learning, automatic translation, analysis, and reconstruction of the ancient wisdom. Thus was born the Nadi Leaves Archive, now housed in the cloud, one virtual leaf for each of the 8.7 billion people living on Earth. All this musty history didn't particularly interest Nayana. She had more important business. The advertising promised that through Fate Leaf, you could use all the wisdom of your Nadi leaf and get answers to any questions. All the adults were busy, absorbed in watching Ganesh Visarjan and preparing the holiday table. Her younger brother was engrossed in his chips and also noticed nothing around him. No one cared about the girl, so she quickly typed into Fate Leaf, "Does Sahej like me?" A notification immediately popped up on the screen. The answer would cost 200 rupees. Nayana nodded in agreement and clicked send. Nayana had noticed Sahej the moment his smart stream first connected to their virtual classroom. The new student didn't use any filters or augmented reality backgrounds. This was unusual and seemed curious. On the wall visible behind the new classmate's figure, Nayana saw rows of colorful masks. As soon became clear, the guy had made them himself, carved from wood and painted. The teacher also immediately noticed the masks. On the first day of the new semester, Sahej, a bit shyly but with obvious pleasure, gave his classmates a tour, showed and explained everything. In his fairly traditional style but still very unusual masks, images of Indian gods and spirits combined with the power of superheroes. Nayana's classmates never tired of gossiping about Sahej in share chat. In the For Our Own chat, there was plenty to discuss. The new classmates' room really was decorated very unusually, and Sahej's surname was absent from school registration records. After active discussion, the girls decided he was in the at-risk group. By government order, no less than 15% of students belong to it. Such children are guaranteed places in private schools throughout India. Their tuition, textbooks, and school uniforms are paid for. The terms 15% and at-risk group were in essence euphemisms for Dalits, the untouchables. Nayana liked watching documentaries on the internet, so she knew about India's old caste system and its deep Hindu religious and cultural roots. Once, the caste to which a newborn's parents belonged determined, from the moment of birth and for life, their future profession, possible education, spouse. At the bottom of this system stood the Dalits, the untouchables. For many generations, Dalits performed the dirtiest work, cleaning sewers, processing and disposing of animal carcasses, tanning leather. After India gained independence and the constitution came into force, from 1950, any caste discrimination was banned. But in fact, for many more years there existed zones where Dalits had the right to drink, eat, live, and even bury their dead. The territories of the untouchables were clearly separated from places for representatives of higher castes. The latter, so as not to be defiled, often refused to be in the same room with Dalits, classmates or colleagues, though they usually didn't explain why. The Indian government tried to correct this injustice. A 15% quota for Dalits was established in government institutions and any educational establishments. The intentions seemed exclusively noble, but these decisions caused mass controversy and even provoked violence. Parents of children from higher castes complained. Dalits are enrolled in school by quota, not by academic performance. Other children have to pay for the sins of previous generations. India simply replaced one form of injustice and inequality with another. But despite pockets of negative reaction, the Indian government's efforts bore fruit. 200 million descendants of Dalits integrated into mainstream society, and now recognizing their past identity at first glance was much harder. The girls in share chat continued gossiping about the new classmate. They discussed Sahej's origins and endlessly debated whether they would date him or not. Such snobs, Nayana snorted to herself, reading the chat. Nayana herself immediately saw a kindred spirit in Sahej. The girl liked the work of Bardi Care, and Nayana herself dreamed of creating in the performance style. But she often had to defend herself that this had nothing in common with lightweight pop. Nayana believed that a true artist should be true to themselves and never change to please someone else's point of view. So if she liked Sahej, then she liked him and his origins, place of residence, or even his Hindi with a noticeable Tamil accent didn't matter. The response from Fate Leaf seemed to take forever. Finally, a notification with a palm leaf icon appeared on the screen. We're very sorry. Due to insufficient data provided, Fate Leaf is currently unable to answer your query. From the speaker came the sound of coins. Payment returned for the unprovided service. Well, fine. Insufficient data for them. And Nayana quietly swore. Irritated and angry, the girl tore her eyes from the screen. Mama Ria was finishing setting the table. Dinner time was approaching, but something was clearly off. Among the traditional Indian delicacies on the table stood several super expensive dishes from a Chinese takeout restaurant. Such treats were a great rarity in their house. The frugal father didn't approve of such expenses. Besides the expanded menu, there was another oddity. Ria was wearing her favorite Parsi-style silk sari, a beautiful, clearly from a salon, hairstyle, and a complete set of jewelry. Grandfather and grandmother also looked different from usual. Happier somehow. And even the annoying chubby Rowan wasn't pestering his sister with stupid questions. Explaining all the oddities by the Ganesh Chaturthi holiday alone was impossible. So... Nayana drawled, also noticing the new tablecloth. Will someone explain to me what's going on here? What do you mean? Mama reacted instantly but seemed not to understand her daughter's mood. Am I the only one who thinks something's not as usual? The adults exchanged glances and laughed. Well, what did you notice? Ria offered a guessing game. Are you hiding something? Nayana's mind was already spinning. In all her life, she'd never seen anything like this at home. Let's sit down and eat first. Grandmother tried to take the initiative and began adjusting the naan bread on the platter. Wait, Nayana persisted. I'll guess. Papa got a promotion. We won the lottery. The government lowered taxes. With each guess, the smile on Father's face grew wider, and each time he shook his head, nope, didn't guess. Excellent hypotheses. He laughed heartily. No, it's all Mama. Nayana spun around. So what mess did you get into this time? Hey, watch yourself. Ria raised her voice. You're talking to your mother. Yeah, so? It's not me who's constantly getting fooled, and it's not me wearing out my feet to buy everything cheaper. Nayana snapped back by inertia, but lowered her tone. So what did you do? I bought Ganesh Insurance. They had an amazing holiday sale. First time in history. 50% off. All the neighbors bought it, and they save even more than we do. Mama Ria was bursting with pride at her thriftiness and luck. Papa applauded, Grandma and Grandpa joined in. Nayana interrupted the ovation. But didn't we always insure with Life Insurance Corporation of India? Well, yes, exactly. But their policy was always just barely enough. God forbid something happens to Grandma and Grandpa. What would we do? You, by the way, attend a private school, and you, it seems, are planning to go to Rai University for Fashion Technology and Performance Art. And it's private, by the way, and tuition there is much more expensive than at state universities. You know yourself, we save on everything possible, so it's my fault again. Nayana bristled more out of habit. Papa hadn't said anything new, and of course, was right. Before making plans, you need to look at what's right under your nose, Grandfather philosophically remarked. Okay, well, you've already paid anyway. And what will the new insurance give us? Nayana tried to pull herself together and understand the details of the changes awaiting the family. Mrs. Shaw told me all the details. You know her. She's from the neighboring house. The Ganesh Insurance platform uses artificial intelligence to adjust the insurance plan according to the specific needs of the insured family. This seemed to be text from the insurance company's brochure. Although, possibly, Mama's acquaintance was quoting the advertisement, and Ria just memorized everything verbatim. Plus, the insurance is sold at a very good price. Mama finally got to the point. By the way, Ganesh Insurance is a package of mobile apps. One calculates insurance premiums and accepts their payment. But what I like most is this one, for shopping. And another, one that shows all the deals in our area. Notice the hairstyle. Ria preened, turning her head. At a super expensive salon, by the way, and I only paid 400 rupees, all thanks to the Cheapan app. Rohan, seizing the moment, tried to snag a candy from the bowl, but Nayana slapped his hand, and he realized he'd been caught and stuck his tongue out at his sister. Nayana returned to the general conversation. It was more serious now than her brother's diet. Sounds a lot like another advertising gimmick. And why would an insurance company tell you where to get your hair done? Mama hesitated. And how do these insurers know so much about our family? Nayana didn't wait for an answer. Answering didn't seem to appeal to her. The pause dragged on. Everyone waited. And Ria had to confess. We gave the artificial intelligence access to each family member's data transmission channels. Those are the insurance conditions. There's no other way. Nayana's eyes became like two copper plates, from which a scream seemed ready to burst. What? But no sound came. No. Ria was already beginning to justify herself. Everything is strictly confidential. The insurance company can only use the data if we give permission. But what right did you have to give some insurance company access to my data transmission channel? Nayana moved to shouting, and her voice broke from indignation. Don't you dare talk to your mother like that! Father finally spoke up. Don't forget, you're a minor. We're your parents. We have every right to make decisions, including about your personal data. Nayana flushed from humiliation. She wasn't used to such sharp rebukes, especially from Father. She threw down her knife and fork. They clanged loudly against the plate, ran to her room, slammed the door, fell on the bed, pulled the blanket over her head, and froze, swallowing tears. Probably somewhere on a nayati leaf. Nayana thought bitterly. It's written that today is the worst day of my life. The Cold War between Nayana and Mama Ria lasted about a week. A few days after the unexpectedly ruined holiday dinner, Nayana's smart stream was suddenly flooded with unusual notifications. Rain is expected today. Don't forget your umbrella. Cold season has begun. Be sure to wear a mask. An accident has occurred on your route. To avoid traffic, at first, Nayana smirked skeptically, but she looked at the notifications. You can't know who's knocking on your smart stream without looking at the screen. Then, the girl discovered that even after seeing a strange message from an anonymous sender, she still read it carefully. She consoled herself with the fact that, from time to time, the information actually turned out to be useful. She was always interested in sales at clothing stores or discounts at her favorite cafe. However, as it turned out, the promotions could only be used through the Cheap on Deals app and several others offered by Ganesh Insurance under the Golden Elephant brand. She had to download them, and of course, allow them access to her data. Nayana did all this after some thought. However, the feeling that the Golden Elephant had long been present in her smart stream didn't go away. Had Mama given the insurance company access to her gadget? Well, it's not unlikely. In more than 60% of Indian households, all devices in the family are controlled by the housewife, like Mama Ria, and all personal data is linked to the unique National Identification Code, Aadhaar. Every one of India's 1.4 billion residents has one, assigned by the Unique Identification Authority of India. Over the 20 years since this system was introduced in 2009, the government had collected an enormous database. A great deal is known about citizens, their fingerprints, digital signatures using retinal scans, genetic histories, information about family, occupation, credit rating, home purchase history, and tax reports. And now Ganesh Insurance, with client consent, could use this rich array of data to personalize services. Of course, there are some restrictions. To use data from social networks, you need to authorize, and data of minors can only be used with the consent of their legal representatives or guardians. Nayana thought a bit more and compromised. She decided to use GI services but be maximally vigilant about it. In computer literacy classes at school, Nayana was a good student and remembered a lot. They covered how every click on the internet can sell or rent you out. And before once again clicking, I accept or thanks, I need more time to think about this, the girl carefully studied everything written in small print, and often chose the second option. But despite reasonable and conscious behavior, the stream of notifications from GI about attractive discounts and the best ways to solve pressing problems noticeably increased. For example, how to attract Sahej's attention. He really was a cute and very sweet guy with huge, kind eyes. Sahej tried to please his new classmates. He gave each one a small head of some animal that he himself had carved from wood. But during virtual learning, the connection often broke, and instead of Sahej's sweet face, Nayana saw only a blurred silhouette on the screen, and his voice in her headphones croaked. But after meeting Sahej in person on one of the offline school days, Nayana discovered that holding back her feelings for the guy had become quite difficult. The girl constantly looked for pretexts to communicate with Sahej, used every opportunity, but for some reason he stubbornly kept his distance. Does he not like me? Or is there something else? Or maybe Sahej's shyness was because of his low origins. Nayana was once again pondering this most important thought when little golden elephants appeared on her smart stream screen. A notification from Magicomb, the GI app that gives lifestyle advice, including how to become more attractive to guys. Nayana, of course, guessed the AI was using data about her internet searches and purchases. Otherwise, how would it know what she was thinking? But such recommendations worried her for a completely different reason. Why should a woman change at all, wanting to please a man? Why don't women just show men their true selves and decide together whether they're right for each other? Nayana was still quite angry at Mama, but found the strength to ask her about the strange messages from the magic app. Ria was twirling in front of the mirror in a new long skirt. She clearly liked how she looked and, in excellent spirits, addressed her daughter. Silly girl, machines only learn what people teach them. And why do you ask? You're in love. Not at all, Nayana hesitated. Don't want to tell? Don't. But you can't hide from artificial intelligence, Ria joked. Are you sure you don't need help? Believe me, Your mother knows a thing or two about men. How can I find out what a boy really thinks about me? Nayana ventured. I'm giving him likes, but he doesn't react. Aha! So there is someone after all. Well, likes alone won't do it. Give GI access to your ShareChat account. Their recommendations will get even better. Our family's insurance premium, by the way, will also decrease a little from that. Nayana wanted to hear something entirely different. She shook her head disappointedly and left the room. Just a few weeks ago, when Fate Leaf couldn't answer Nayana's query due to insufficient data, Rhea hadn't allowed her daughter to give access to other family members' accounts, and Nayana was left without a fortune. But now mother and daughter had switched places. But on the other hand, now the question was more serious. It was about the family budget. However, it wasn't just about offense and disappointment. Nayana believed that the golden elephant had already thoroughly brainwashed all her relatives. Everyone only thought about how else to change their behavior to reduce insurance premiums. Nayana felt that when money enters the game, the human brain switches to autopilot. To get a bonus or avoid a penalty, people do everything, acting on autopilot. No, well, GI did have some pluses, of course. The golden elephant reminded Grandma and Grandpa when it was time to take their medicine and make doctor's appointments. Nayana's father, who generally never listened to anyone, unexpectedly quit smoking. The elephant scolded him daily for this bad habit. More than that, Papa replaced his beloved strong anise arak with healthier dry red wine. He even started driving much more carefully. Following the app's advice, he no longer darted across lanes on Mumbai's jammed streets like an unemployed racer. GI didn't just advise, it materially incentivized him by changing his driving behavior. Papa reduced his premiums on car, health, and life insurance. Parents were one thing. What can you expect from adults? Nayana was sure that her younger brother Rohan would definitely resist the GI onslaught. After all, fat and sugar are addictive, like heroin, especially for children who have no self-control at all. But the golden elephant succeeded with Rowan too. An 8-year-old child, of course, didn't care about the charm of reduced insurance premiums or delayed gratification. But there was almost always an older family member next to Rohan, and they could clearly see a forbidden treat in the boy's hand was a threat to the common bank account. And that was it. No one ever indulged Sweet Tooth Rohan's weaknesses again. The changes in life happened rapidly. They naturally made sense and not only helped save the family's money. All insurance companies strive for their clients to live long and be healthy. This brings insurers greater profit. But Nayana couldn't decide what to do herself. Should she really give the elephant access to her ShareChat data? Equally difficult was the question about Sahej. He had given Nayana a raven's head painted with beautiful patterns. Classmates received other animals or birds. Maybe it was a secret message. Maybe Sahej wanted to say something to Nayana. The 10th grader racked her brain trying to find hidden meaning in the gift. Isn't a raven a symbol of bad luck? Or did he want to say I'm talkative and annoying? Maybe I'm pushing him too hard. What did he mean? Nayana was completely exhausted. She would, of course, turn to the online fortune teller Fate Leaf. But Mama hadn't allowed giving that app access to family members' data. What about Maggie Comb? The girl suddenly realized. Completely worn out by unrequited love for her classmate, she decided to turn to the all-powerful algorithm. However, the golden elephant described to Nayana a completely different future than the one she dreamed of. Something's clearly wrong here. At school, they constantly drilled. Giving a mobile app access to your social media data is practically opening the door to your bedroom. GI, of course, guaranteed that all data was transmitted to the artificial intelligence for federated learning. The technology itself ensured anonymity. A third party could never get their hands or nose into it. But all of personal life would be turned inside out. This situation reminded Nayana a bit of the joke when a farmer tells a turkey a week before Thanksgiving, "Trust me, you're completely safe here." Whatever Nayana did now on ShareChat browsing pages, chatting with friends, giving likes, or just choosing emojis, she only thought about how her choice would affect her family's insurance premiums. The system was terribly annoying and seemed absurd, but perhaps even more absurd is expecting this AI to arrange my happiness. Nayana mused. Sahej posted almost nothing and wrote little on ShareChat. He generally resembled a person from a long-past era who couldn't keep up with technology. Sometimes he did repost news, quotes that seemed interesting to him, or long-stale memes. But he appeared online spontaneously and was unpredictable. Nayana generally thought this was exactly how fake zombie accounts behaved. What? Tell me. Can artificial intelligence learn about Sahej from his boring and meager account? How will it help Nayana get closer to her classmate? It was different with her. Understanding the girl's intentions was simple. Just consider the frequency and consistency of her clicks. For AI, such things are a matter of pure mathematics, not human love. It seemed to Nayana, as soon as it came to Sahej, GI started behaving somehow suspiciously. As soon as she refreshed Sahej's page or liked him, some strange notification flew in from GI, as if the program was trying to redirect her attention. Whenever the girl searched how to find a reason to talk to a guy, searched the internet for gift for a guy, or even chose a cafe for a joint cup of coffee, the little animated golden elephant popped up on the screen and dragged along a completely absurd recommendation or loaded a clearly wrong page. There was only one explanation for the oddities. The golden elephant didn't want them to get closer with Sahej at all, so it was actively working against her. I wonder, is this elephant like this with everyone? Or just with me? Maybe I'm too young, but isn't finding your other half and getting married a good thing? Don't they tell us at school that our country's population of 1.4 billion people is our strength? That our reproductive capacity will make us invincible, stronger than anyone in the world? What's the problem? Nayana was racking her brain and didn't notice that Mama was standing in the doorway. Confess, young lady! What have you done? Our insurance premium is through the roof! Me? Done? Nayana didn't know what to answer. The golden elephant had clearly decided to turn her life upside down. Answer immediately, or I'll take away your smart stream. No, you can't. Sorry, I can. And that's exactly what I'm going to. But before the combatably minded Rhea could finish, Nayana flew past like a whirlwind, nearly knocked her mother over in the narrow doorway, and shot out into the street like lightning. Nayana ran until she realized she didn't recognize the area, but her smart stream was firmly clenched in her palm. Nayana stopped, caught her breath, and looked around. Thank God. She recognized the relief sculptures on the new India Assurance Building. Whew! Fort District. The setting sun illuminated the familiar, magnificent molding on the weathered facade. Figures of farmers, potters, spinners, and porters. Nayana reasoned that this was the perfect moment to call Sahej, even if it led to another jump in her family's insurance premium. But on top of her classmate's avatar on the SmartStream screen, a GI notification immediately appeared. The premium went up by 0.73 rupees. Sahej wasn't answering. Nayana was about to hang up when suddenly the video connection kicked in. In the near total darkness, the contours of a face were barely visible, and white teeth gleamed. Sahej, is that you? Nayana grew timid. Well, yeah, it's me. Is this Nayana? I was afraid you wouldn't answer. There are some issues here. I can't talk long right now, but I'm terribly glad you called. Then, let's meet. Nayana's heart froze with happiness. Listen, I'll send you the address right now. Sahej quickly glanced back, hesitated a bit, and almost whispered, "Send it." Nayana sent the address, pressed end call, and couldn't help herself. She clapped her hands, and suddenly someone behind her called her by name. The sun was shining at Mama's back. In the golden and red sun rays, she resembled the goddess Saraswati descended to earth. How did you find me? Nayana was amazed and even forgot they had just quarreled. I manage all the data in the house, Rhea reminded her, drilling her daughter with her gaze. I'm sorry, Nayana didn't raise her eyes. Remember, I told you about a guy. I really want to meet with him, but GI seems to be trying to prevent it. And you think that's why our insurance premium is rising? GI doesn't let us do stupid things that could harm us. It wants us to live healthier and longer. Is this guy a dangerous person? Nayana shook her head. No, probably not. He's my new classmate. Smart and very talented. His name is Sahej. Look what he gave me. He made it himself, carved it from wood. Nayana held out the raven's head to her mother. Mama became interested in the wooden craft, took it, examined it carefully from all sides. Doesn't look like the guy's dangerous. Is he handsome? Nayana was embarrassed, then smiled, but the smile quickly slid off, turning into a grimace. Mom, this is complete garbage. And what does this GI know that I don't? Will I really live longer if I never meet Sahej? Want me to tell you? Mama hugged her daughter. Of course we argue sometimes, but I'm not blind and not as stupid as you think. You ran off, and I remembered. I read recently. It was an old book, by the way. Maggie Combe suggested it to me, can you imagine? Nayana hadn't expected this turn and waited with interest for the continuation. A book from 2021 about an Indian family just like ours. A mother, superficial, proud, and obsessed with her own image. Her daughter suffers, and the mother doesn't care. And the girl suffers more and more. The mother paid no attention to it. That's what shocked me most of all. When I was as old as you are now, my parents dreamed of marrying me off as quickly as possible. But I wanted to study, to become a lawyer. My parents didn't want me to be smart and educated and make my own decisions, and I didn't have the strength to resist. I gave in and regret it to this day, and I'm not angry at you even though you're rude to me. I'm glad you listened to your heart, go your own way, to a guy you like or to your chosen profession. Ria was still hugging her daughter. Nayana noticed how the sun glinted in her mother's eyes. Or were those tears welling up? I've always tried to give you a sense of safety and comfort that I never had, and your happiness will never depend solely on your marriage. Enroll at Rye University for Fashion Technology and Performance Art, as you chose. And don't let anyone tell you what to do. Anyone. You hear? Neither people nor artificial intelligence. And if anyone interferes in your life, don't you dare listen to them. Only you can find the right answer. And even then, you have to try first. So I can go to Ahmedabad to Rye University? If you get in, yes. Mama smiled. The competition there is enormous. Even if it makes our family's insurance premiums go up, sometimes it's worth taking the risk. Mom, I agreed to meet Sahej. And thank you. A red double-decker bus appeared from around the corner. Nayana awkwardly poked her mother on the cheek, a kiss, and ran to the bus stop. And the sun sank below the horizon. From the street through the window, you could see waiters busily setting tables in the hall and lighting candles. A romantic evening was approaching. Sahej was waiting for Nayana on the corner. In the twilight, his skin seemed even darker. It seemed to Nayana that going into the cafe didn't appeal to him at all. Listen, I'm sorry. Sahej hesitated, shook his head, looked at the ground. His eyes sparkled in the darkness like two fireflies. Is something wrong? If I go with you, Mama will be upset. Going to such places, indulging weaknesses, it will increase our insurance premium. You mean, something clicked in Nayana's head. Everything fell into place. So your family is also on GI insurance? Yes. And Mama is very sick. We were really lucky. GI offers a special insurance policy for people like us, called For the Socially Vulnerable. Otherwise, we could never have afforded such insurance. I understand! Nayana nodded, and she steered the conversation to something much more important. But I don't understand at all why you gave me a raven and not a peacock, rabbit, or someone else. You ask a lot of questions. Sahej smiled softly. Let's go for a walk since we're not going to that stupid cafe. The streets of evening Mumbai are usually filled with cars. Honking sounds from all sides. What can you do? A huge city! 30 million people! Mumbai wasn't always a city of skyscrapers, bright lights, and digital displays. But it's been overcrowded for a very long time. People took a liking to this place back in the Stone Age. The ancient Greeks settled where today's Mumbai stands. They called the place Heptanesia, 7 islands. Since then, the city has seen the rise and fall of many dynasties and rulers. It is baptized in blood. Before India gained independence, it died and rose from the ashes countless times. But of course, the high schoolers weren't thinking about any of this as they strolled leisurely down the brightly lit streets. Nayana discovered with surprise that Sahej was trying to keep a physical distance, as if an accidental touch would shock him. Sahej, why are you moving away? Nayana tried to choose her words as carefully as possible, afraid of offending her finally found friend. You really don't know? Sahej was surprised. Don't know what? My surname? No. In class? Both at school and online, they hide it, as if you're the offspring of some TV star or from some famous family. No, the opposite. They do it so you don't feel discomfort. What do you mean? Well, it used to be described as a feeling of defilement. You mean your caste? But that system was abolished ages ago. Sahej smiled bitterly. It was banned by law. They don't talk about it in the news, but it exists. But how does the artificial intelligence know about this? It doesn't. It doesn't need to know the definition of castes. All it needs is user history. No matter how we hide, change our surnames, traces still remain. They can't be erased. Nayana remembered. Mama had said that artificial intelligence only knows what people teach it. She played with this thought a bit, then looked carefully at Sahej. So you're saying artificial intelligence reveals invisible discrimination and quantifies it? Sahej grew serious, thought for a moment, and snorted. Almost forgot. Also, my skin color. You know that in Sanskrit the same word meant both caste and color. That's complete nonsense. No, it's reality. Women from lower castes can date men from higher castes and even marry them. But the other way around, absolutely not. It will completely ruin the girl's family reputation. Does artificial intelligence really care about such nonsense? It doesn't care about our outdated social norms, but it strives to reduce users' insurance premiums, and that's why GI is trying to prevent us from being together. Nayana heard the key word, together. The girl's cheeks flushed. Maximizing the objective function? That's what it's called. The what? People set a goal for artificial intelligence to reduce clients' insurance premiums to the lowest possible level. And now it's solving this problem. It doesn't consider factors that don't affect reducing the premium, and it certainly doesn't care whether people are happy or not. Machines aren't smart enough to interpret feelings on top of statistical data. Besides, injustice and prejudice are still quite real. And artificial intelligence only exposes the shame. How do you know all this? Sahej smiled. I want to get into Imperial College, become an AI specialist. I want to change this stupid situation. During their smart conversation, the couple had walked almost to Nayana's house without noticing. At the last intersection, Sahej stopped and prepared to say goodbye. She didn't want to part, and then Nayana had an idea. But why can't we change this right now? Did we give artificial intelligence permission to control our fate? Like predictions on Fate Leaf written thousands of years ago? A shadow passed over Sahej's face. Did you go on Fate Leaf after connecting to GI? Oh, I'm so tired of their golden elephant. And what does Fate Leaf have to do with it? Fate Leaf is part of the GI family of apps, like Magicomb and Cheapon. If you accept the data sharing terms, you get a more accurate prediction. Exactly, Nayana gasped. Why didn't I figure that out before? So the fates from the naughty leaves aren't authentic at all. I, like everyone else, wanted everything to be real, but the prophecy just told me what I wanted to hear. It finally dawned on Nayana. She'd been fooled. She just hadn't decided yet whether to be happy or to suffer and agonize. Sahej looked carefully at Nayana, hesitated a bit, and pointed to the street he was about to take home. We live there. The road goes through the Dharavi construction site. There used to be slums there. Can you imagine? More than 1 million people on a patch of 500 by 500 meters? Tourists came to take pictures, but no one wanted to live there. Now Dharavi is finally going to become a normal place. Sahej seemed to be giving a tour, and Nayana found it interesting. She had, of course, heard of Dharavi, but hadn't known many details. Keep in mind, I'm just warning you. If you get close to Dharavi, GI will bombard you with warnings. About diseases, it'll start writing that you absolutely shouldn't drink water there. It'll beg you to stay away. Nayana, you're fair, but this is not a road for people like you. The world is on your side, not on the side of those who live there. Sahej pointed again at the road to his home. So if we're talking about fate, there it is, our fate. Can I come with you? Nayana surprised herself at how easily that came out and stepped forward. I'm not like you think. Sahej tilted his head doubtfully. Are you sure? Nayana glanced once more at the road to Dharavi, to the forbidden zone in the heart of the Mumbai megalopolis. Scary! But suddenly Mama's voice rang in her ears. Sometimes it's worth taking the risk. Nayana realized she was sure and nodded. Sahej beamed, gallantly bent his arm at the elbow, offering his lady support. As you wish, mademoiselle. And the young couple set off again, into the depths of the ancient city, where over centuries people had renewed every corner and every brick many times. Old and new towers lined up along the edges of the road, like reborn souls of people. The machine gods of tomorrow would in time destroy and then recreate these souls too. So why did you carve a raven's head for me exactly? It's my totem, my astrological animal. Though in person, I'm much more awkward than most ravens. Wow, it's that simple. Yes, that simple. The smart stream vibrated, quietly at first, then faster, stronger, more insistently. Nayana knew. It was the golden elephant Sahej had warned her back at the intersection. The artificial intelligence was trying to save her. It warned her, asked her not to approach the place that was once considered the largest slum in the world. It urged her to stay away from poverty, disease, discrimination, and the untouchables. Like the guy beside her. Nayana just pulled her hoodie tighter and continued walking next to Sahej. The most important answer awaited her ahead, in the darkness of the ancient streets.